to see me at 11.
And we're live.
Hey,
We're live.
Happy
I'm
Friday.
back.
You're back?
It's like 2 weeks I missed.
I know. You had some shoulder issues. How's that going?
Yeah, well, not good. But
Yeah.
so I spent a little time in Chicago, and interesting place right now. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in Chicago. And then, last week I had a little. My medical's at the VA, so when they call and say you can get an appointment, you gotta
go.
pass it up.
Yeah, you show up.
Yeah. Are you a veteran by any chance?
I'm not. My dad is.
All right. Nice.
So.
Well, all right. So everybody knows Mike. I'm Johnny, and our guest today is Tyler Blair. We're going to talk a little bit about Tyler's road into real estate and some lead gen stuff. And we talked a little bit before the show about teams and how actually one of the best resources we have at my home group is Mike Marlowe, as far as what team fits for what realtor, and because Mike's been involved in bringing on most of the team, so he can give a real good kind of overview of what teams are looking for. And Tyler and I were laughing before the show. Like, what are you looking for? He goes, people at work. I was like, good luck with that. So it's not this is not an easy thing. But anyway, I got my phone, so if you want to text any questions or any questions on the Facebook thing.
Yeah, just post it out there. We love questions. So Kelly will be letting us know all the questions. We'll get them taken care of. We're really excited about this show because I know lead generation is a big topic for a lot of agents. So
let me cover one thing before we jump into that, okay? One thing. So I had a conversation this morning with a friend of mine that was in real estate and then kind of got out of real estate and then kind of is back in, and it made me realize something, that this job, while it's right for some and it's just not right for others. I mean, this is a job. It's true. This is not a hobby. I mean, this is a job. It's a 40-hour-a-week job. If you've got a smile, a brain, and a mouth, and a computer and a phone, you can make money in real estate. That's just the starting tools. You got to figure out how to take what's coming up here and have it come out of here and smile at people and have them earn their trust. That's the secret sauce. So people ask me all the time, what's the secret of your success? And we're going to ask you some similar questions. I guarantee you that every successful realtor will tell you the same thing. It's hard work, and just be honest with people. Be authentic with people. I know so many realtors that get into this and they get off on some tangent like, oh, I want to be just like that person. It's not always possible. I mean, you got to be yourself. You got to be authentic. So the person that I talked to this morning is probably watching, so I hope you are, and then I want you to call me after the show. Anyway, so why don't you introduce our guest? And
this is
wait, one more thing. No,
typical Sox fan right there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about the show because
are you?
I'm not.
Okay, good. You can stay then.
All right. Okay, good.
we love to kid each other about the Cubs and the Sox, but neither one of them made it to the.
Yeah.
Hey, how about the Bears?
Yeah. Well, Bears are doing all right. Yeah.
That's the 5-1 team I ever saw in my whole life.
Yeah, going through quarterbacks like no one's business.
Yeah, well, we finally figured one out.
So today is kind of a fun topic to talk about. So if you're out there and even thinking about doing lead gen, we're here today with one of the best. So we're excited to have him on the show. If you don't know, he's been in number one in the leaderboard 6 months. That's fantastic. It's amazing. So we're excited to pick his brain on what he's doing out there and sharing some of what he's doing with all of you. So don't be afraid to ask questions. We're here to answer them. But first, let's start with a little bit about you. I mean, how did you get into real estate? What made you decide to become?
How'd you end up in Arizona? Are you from Arizona?
Yeah, from here, born and raised, grew up in Mesa. My parents sold their house back when things were going crazy. I think it was like 06. My uncle actually sold that house to a client, and he showed me his commission check. And I was like a junior in high school, and I see it, and I was like, whoa, that's what I need to do.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I knew I was going to get into real estate. I didn't know when, I didn't know how. I just knew at some point I was going to sell homes. That's kind of my segue in was that, and I moved to Tucson with my wife. She went to school, and I had 3 jobs, and I was going to school as well. And I started at the apartment complex I did that for free rent, and I managed. They were making $1 million a month, so they were renting out per room, and I helped manage that. And so that's kind of what got me like, oh wow, this real estate thing is actually pretty cool. So we moved back up, and I had a friend that was managing apartment complex up here, so I started working for him, and it was going great. And they moved me to the corporate office, and I became a glorified secretary.
How old were you at the time?
23 probably, 23. And I was like, man, I come home angry every day. I wasn't happy. And my parents always taught me, if you're not happy with what you're doing, then you got to get out.
Change.
So my wife was like, you need to go get your real estate license. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go get it took me a year. I got my real estate license, and then I did property management, long story short.
How old were you when you got your real estate license?
24.
Can I ask how old you are now?
31.
So in between 24 and 31, you probably learned more than you could give. I mean, it's like a sponge, right?
Yeah.
So what did you learn between 24 and 31 that makes you the success that you are? By the way, just so everybody knows, Tyler's been on top of the leaderboard, I think, the last
6
2
months
months.
in a row. Yeah.
2 months in a row?
6.
6 months in a row?
Yeah.
6.
Why don't you just do the show? I'm gonna die. No, really, that's incredible. So tell us a little bit about kind of that learning curve.
Sure.
It's not easy, right?
No. That first bit was
Plus, you were in the gym most of the time.
Yeah. That first little bit was a struggle. And I became an actual agent. We had $5,000 in the bank, and I put everything on credit cards. There was another point where we had $6 in our bank account, and we were splitting burritos, me and my wife. And that was 5 years ago in October. We moved into our new house, and she found our Chase Bank slip. We used that slip to get food stamps at the time, and it said $24 on it, and that was 5 years ago in October.
Wow.
And we had just moved into our new house. So it's been a long journey, a long road, but I wouldn't change it. A lot of roller coasters. If I could give any advice, it would be to not get distracted by shiny objects. Oh, that looks great, that looks great. No, put your head down and work. And work like you've never worked before. And at the beginning, people are going to doubt you. People are going to say you're crazy. People are going to make fun of you. People are going to laugh at you. But 5 years down the road, you'll be the one laughing.
So we talked a little bit before the show about hard work, and I've had teams, and I had to dissolve my team, and my issue was, I put in 70 hours, 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
So all the people that were working with me, I just expected 40. Just put 40 hours a week, make it a full-time job. And they'd come to me and they'd say, "Oh, Johnny, you know what? I got that one deal done, and you took part of the commission on that, and I didn't really get this from you." And that I'm like, time out. Wait a second. How'd your open house go this weekend? Well, I didn't have one because I had an ingrown toenail, and I couldn't do it. Well, how many calls did you make? How many calls did you make this week? So what were your spheres? You work in your database. So how many calls did you make? I'm just uncomfortable calling people. I just don't feel it. I said, okay, so we're done. So bottom line is, you're not willing to put in the effort to get what you need out of it. There's no secret sauce. It's not like you got the answer in your back pocket and you're not telling anybody. It's work. You gotta work. You gotta. It's just
the true secret sauce is truly commitment.
That's it.
And then consistency. So you have to commit to doing this. This is a business. It's not a job. You're not clocking in the sense that you go into a corporate job. The only way you succeed is if you do something, because it's your business, and the only way it's going to grow is if you make the calls or if you do the open house.
I've owned my own business since 1986. I have no idea what it's like to get a paycheck. I haven't gotten a paycheck since 1986. I get commission checks, and those commission checks are equal to the effort that I put in.
Absolutely.
There's no.
So let's
my wife knows there's no check coming in at the end of the month. So if you own your own business, you're never off. There's not a time when
No,
you're off. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times that you gotta say, okay, I'm gonna shut it down and go to San Diego for a couple days, have somebody get your calls or whatever. I don't.
Yeah, that's part
I
of it.
condone that, because when you get to that point where you're like, man, I need a break. Take a break, because it's gonna pay off for you to take a break and shut it down and get away. But when you own your own business, your doors are. You don't have hours on the door. It's not like you work 9 to 5. How many calls do you take at 8 o'clock at night?
I take calls at 10:30 at night,
10:30.
11 o'clock at night. And my wife understands. I'm kind of a late owl. We go to bed at midnight. So my team knows that they can call me at 10:30, 11 o'clock, and I'll pick up. Because I'll never be that guy that someone on my team needs help. And I'll never be that guy that doesn't pick up the phone when they need help, because then they have to try and figure out, then why are they with us? I have to be there to help them every step of the way.
The answer guy.
Yes, 100%.
So go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, let's start at the beginning. So you first became an agent.
Yeah.
You kind of had to feel your way through what it was you
Yeah.
were gonna do, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many avenues in real estate. So how did you get into lead gen? Did you start with lead gen, or did you do open houses? Did you door knock, cold call?
I've done every type of lead gen there is. I've door knocked. I've
I
opened
knew you were
houses.
gonna say yes.
I've done it all. I picked what I liked best, and that was online lead generation. That's what we specialize in. I consider myself really good on the phone, so I can coach people on the phone with online leads. I would much rather have a lead come in than me go knock on a door.
Okay.
I would rather call 100 leads to find that one person than go knock on 100 doors to find one.
Okay.
So for me, it was the biggest thing was finding what I loved in that part of lead gen. And don't get me wrong, nobody loves picking up the phone and making calls, but I know that that's where the money is. So for me, it's like, okay, I have to put food on my family's table. How do I do that? I'm going to do online leads.
Okay.
So how many people on your team?
We have 24, I think, right now. That's including San Diego and Sholo, and then we have an agent in Tucson as well.
Okay. Let me ask you something.
Uh-huh.
A little bit off subject.
Okay.
What do you think is the biggest deterrent to people picking up the phone and calling? Why is it people just can't? They just can't get.
Yeah.
They can't pick up the phone. They
Here it is.
even though they know it's something they should.
Yep.
They just can't.
Here it is. It's the fact that they're going to be uncomfortable with asking questions, even though you're helping somebody, whether it's a family member or a person you've never talked to. You're doing them a disservice if you don't explain why they need you. Does that make sense?
So yeah,
You're doing them a disservice. Your client, you're doing them, your family member, your mom, your aunt, your best friend. Doesn't matter who it is. You're doing them a disservice if you don't explain to them why they need you, because no one is going to work harder for them than you. Does that make sense?
perfect sense.
So people get on the phone. Oh, I'm nervous to make that call. Why? Oh, well, I don't know what to say. Figure it out. Because once you go through 100 calls, you'll figure out what you need to say. Just pick up the phone, and that's what I found. If you do it first thing in the morning, you'll get through your lead gen, and then you've done your most important thing that day. So the rest of the day, it's like, man, I've already had a great day. Everything else is gravy.
And those calls create what you have to do for
Yeah,
the rest of the
well,
day.
you pointed out that you did the revenue generating activity first. So
Yep.
you did the hardest task first, which most of the hard tasks are the revenue generating stuff.
Yeah.
So if you got that out of the way, now you can get the other things out of the way.
Yeah.
There is busy work to real estate that needs to get done.
Of course,
And
do
then-
that later.
Yeah.
Do that at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's what that's for.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what that's for. You know, when I didn't have a transaction coordinator and I was on my own, that's what I did. I did that stuff at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, can we talk about, because we're talking online lead gen right now, so which is it's a hot topic. It's talked about all the time.
Definitely.
So let's talk about how that you do it. Do you use like a system like conversion, or
Sure.
do you can talk a little bit about how
Yeah.
you do that?
So we have Boomtown.
Oh, Boomtown, okay.
Boomtown is our lifeblood. We use Boomtown. We're in it every day, all day. It texts us for us, emails for us. The only thing you have to do is pick up the phone and call. We have drip systems set up that it goes out for the agents. Our goal is that the agent is out doing the dollar producing things like meeting with people. I don't care if they're pre-qualified. It doesn't matter, because guess what? You're going to be hungry in a year and a half when that person wants to buy. Who are they going to call? They're going to call you because you're the one that met with them. You're the one that gave them the education. You're the one that built that rapport. So you do that ahead of time so you can cash that check later. Whether it's in a week, whether it's in a year and a half, doesn't matter. But when it comes to Boomtown, we use that religiously. Everything funnels into Boomtown, and then we use Boomtown to its full capability.
Can you talk a little bit about how you do, because I'm sure you can do content creation, right? So you're probably doing single property sites, are you doing squeeze pages, are you doing, and for those that don't know what I'm talking about, there, single property sites is a way to, in a sense, advertise a listing from one of the company listings through the system using social media platforms. So can you talk a little bit about that? I mean, how often do you do it? What kind of content? I mean,
Sure. So most of our leads that come in are through Boomtown. We pay Boomtown to do that.
you buy leads too.
We buy a lot of leads.
Okay. Do you organically or generate leads?
We do it through Facebook.
Okay.
You know, we do ads through Facebook and landing pages and stuff through Facebook. We have a marketing person that handles that. They post every day. We have ads going all month long. You know, to make sure that, and sometimes it's just awareness. Like, hey, look, check out these 34 homes we closed last month. You know, and it's a video of our homes that closed, and we just brand that out just so people know who we are. And then sometimes like I just had a listing appointment not too long ago that they said, oh, I've seen your sign. Oh, I've seen you on Facebook. Well, that's because of that branding awareness that we're just spending those dollars. It's not a ton, right?
Yeah.
Because, with Facebook is cheap. Facebook is cheap. So if you don't have a large budget, use Facebook. Use it to its full capability and drive people into your system through Facebook.
So you do a bit of each. So you do your organic posting.
Yep.
It sounds like you do the landing pages, those types of things. Then you do the branding.
Yeah.
You do the paid leads as well. So
a little bit of everything.
Would you say what's the most important about it? Was content is the type of content you're putting out? Can you kind of describe a little bit the different things? Now you just explained, the current listings or properties that you've done. But what else do you do when you're out there? I know you purchase the leads, so they do that work and drop them into the system. But talk about the branding. But is it just check out this kitchen, or what do you think about this kitchen type branding, or how are you getting the message out?
So our social media person, they kind of break it up, because not every post is a home, or every post is check out what we're doing. Sometimes it's, hey, there's jobs over here that people are looking for, or check out Taco Tuesday, check out these places. Try to provide value other than just look at the homes we sold. But the majority of it is check out this home we sold, check out this kitchen, check out this lake neighborhood, stuff like that. The majority of it is. People love that, but people love the videos.
Right.
When you do the videos, like, you get way more clickbait on videos than you do just the picture.
Let me go backwards for 1 second. So I get it. Once you're established, you've got stuff that you can throw out and say, hey,
totally different, right?
Look at these properties we sold last week. Let's talk a little bit about prior to getting there. So,
Sure.
So now I preach that knowledge is power. The more you know, the better off you are, the better you can serve your clients. The more you know is better. But before you get there, let's talk a little bit about let's say somebody's watching the thing and man, I really like what that guy's doing.
Call me.
I'm going to jump in and do that. And maybe you call and he can help you.
Yeah, I would.
Maybe,
I'll help anybody.
Maybe you can get on his team. I mean, they're looking to add people to their team. But I will tell you, I can guarantee you, I met him this morning, and I can already tell you, if you don't work hard, you ain't going to make it on his team. I'm just going to tell you that right now.
We don't just hire anybody.
It's a feel. So let's talk a little bit about somebody
Sure.
Even an experienced agent that might be looking for, hey, I've been doing this for a long time, and now I'm adopting technology that I'm really having problems
Totally
with.
different ballgame than it was 10 years ago.
Talk a little bit about how you would jump in, whether you're a new agent, an experienced agent. How do you jump into that?
My biggest thing that I see sometimes is they try to figure out everything before they just do action. So my biggest thing is just get into action.
Jump in feet first.
Whether it's an open house, door knocking, whatever it is, just do action, because there will be fruits from that labor. Depending on what lead gen lever you pick, that's on you. But just get into action. Start making calls. Start calling your family members. Start calling your friends. Reach out to people on Facebook. And when you sell that one house, maybe it's your first house you ever sold, right? I hated posting that because I felt like I was being cocky, or hey, check out these 2 I sold this month, or that, right? I hated that, so I had to have my wife do it because I hated that piece. I hated the social media piece. So my wife was the one to post, hey, check out the homes we just closed. I always said we. I never said me, right? Check out us, because it was me and my wife. So I wasn't lying, it was we.
Right.
She was in the back taking care of the kids while I was working 13 hours, 15 hours a day, right? So I always said we. So use social media to your advantage, but don't overdo it. Sometimes I see these agents, they're posting 15 stories in a day. People are zoning out.
They start going,
Yeah, like, okay, I get it. He's in real estate. Like, I get it, right?
Or Instapic. What's that? Instapicture?
Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah. Instapic. That's the next one. We can make it. But, you
I
can.
told you I'm an idiot.
Yeah. Hey, you can post too much.
I can see
But
that.
use social media to your advantage, right? When you close that first one that you worked so hard for, because in real estate it's your first, 6 months is when you get your first check. Technically in real estate, on my team it's more about 2 months. But when you get that first check, brand that like crazy. Like, you worked super hard. You went through 90 hours. You passed that test that might have taken you 4 times. Like, all the headache and all the trouble, like, be excited, right? And we close probably close to a home a day right now. So it's like I try to tell the guys, like, be excited, because don't let that excitement go away, because it's still incredible every time you close a house.
Yeah.
It's important to celebrate the win.
And I like that you said, you can overdo it.
You can.
But you said previously to that, you mentioned that you don't always post real estate, and I think that's important
Yes.
too. So people want to see you, that you're a real person.
Post
too,
your
not
family.
not just this, robotic working person. They want to see the
Yeah.
other side of you too. So I think you have to have a balanced approach about
Yeah.
what you're posting.
So let me add to that.
Okay.
And I know you're going to agree with me. So when you get that first one and you're celebrating.
Yeah, it's like so exciting.
Here's something that people don't realize. How about the time that you made a mistake and didn't close one because you screwed it up? You should celebrate that too, because you know what you got?
You won't mess that up again.
You got knowledge, and you'll never make that mistake again. So every day is a win.
Yeah.
Whether you win and get somebody under contract, or you win and get through to somebody on the phone. Simple as, that's a win.
Yeah.
But it's also a win when you're a week into doing something else and you realize, oh man, maybe I'm not doing this right. Maybe I should look at. That's a win too. You got to look at the positive of everything. And I preach it all the time on the show. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. When I started out, I found a house on 64th Street. I've told this story before. It was overpriced, which was perfect. That meant it wasn't going to sell. And I sat open house every day. Not every weekday, every day. Sunday to Sunday, every day. I went and found a class every month. I had my continuing education done for my next license 3 weeks after I got my license. Because I was going to classes.
Yeah, you wanted to learn.
And then I sat in a house. All I needed was a table, a phone,
treat it like
a
an
way to
office.
connect to the internet, and
Doesn't matter
maybe
where it is.
maybe somebody's going to walk in and I'm going to.
Well, think about it during the week. If you're doing an open house, they're probably a more serious buyer if they're coming through
Bingo.
during the week than the weekend,
Moms.
right?
Mom,
why
Coming
not
home from
do it?
school,
Picking the
dropping
kids
their
up.
kids off. Yep.
Yeah, it's the third day.
And guess who's going to buy that house?
Mom.
100%.
It's the third day they get you. Mom's driving the kids to school. They see an open house. They're like, oh, I wouldn't mind seeing that house. And then the next day they go, wow, they're open again today. Tomorrow, I'm going to leave a little bit early or go to pick up the kids.
So I can
I'm
stop
gonna
by
leave
that
a little bit
house.
early
Yeah.
and stop by. It's the third day that they come in and they're
I
like,
have
oh,
a
I've been seeing
cool
every
tip
day.
for that. We had an agent. I've taught a lot of open house classes and stuff, and we'll just share a tip with you because now the kids are going back to school. This particular agent was doing an open house in the morning, And what they did was they knew the drop-off time at the school, so they did an open house
Smart.
near the school, but they put on top of the open house signs, free coffee and donuts.
Smart.
So, right? So,
That's great.
So they were dropping the kids off and like, oh, we're going to go get a free coffee and donuts.
So what'd that cost them? $10?
Right.
That was good on Monday. By Friday, the donuts were really bad.
Yeah, the same donuts. Yeah, that's funny.
By Friday, the donuts were like.
Yeah.
So I'd like to-
Hard as a rock, break your teeth, and you're paying for a dentist
But it's a
bill.
donut.
Yeah. Hey.
I'd like to kind of get back, the online lead gen, because I'm fascinated with this, and I've done it before.
Yeah.
I've used conversion,
Uh-huh.
very
Yep.
similar systems.
Same with every
But
much.
I want to talk about, you mentioned already how important it was to post every day. Not only just the branding, but the real estate. So you're doing probably at least 3 or 4 different types of posting,
Yeah.
along with your purchasing leads. I'd like to talk about what is the process when the lead comes in.
Oh, yeah, I
So
love
how
this.
how do you handle that?
Yeah.
Your team handle that?
Yeah.
Maybe we can go through and share with some agents on what you're doing, how important it is, how quick you follow up, all that
Sure,
kind of stuff.
sure. So I just saw a new stat that said you're 86% more likely to get a hold of that person if you call within 3 minutes. So we
3
call.
minutes or less.
So we call within 3 minutes.
Okay.
It goes down to 35% if you wait an hour.
And you have somebody that calls. The agents don't call.
The agents call. Yeah. So we have both.
So, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
How do those? So a lead comes in. How do you figure out who gets that? lead?
It's round robin.
Okay, so it's
So-
a round robin. And
So
you're
the
up.
system handles the round robin.
Correct. Yeah. So everyone on our team, we have an 86-day training. We call it the 86-day training because if you don't go through it, then you're 86th, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what we call it, right?
I like that.
So the 86-day training, like for instance, we have a guy on our
You're
team.
86 if you don't do
Yeah.
it.
So we have a guy on our team. He just started a month ago. He works harder than anybody I've ever seen work. Right now, he has 4 pending,
Wow.
and that's in 1 month.
1 month.
He's been with us 1 month, but it's because of the training. So we do this training beforehand, right? And then when the lead comes in, they know what they're doing. So they know they need to be fast. They know what to say, how to say it, when to say it. I mean, I would argue that the biggest thing with online leads is what to say and when to say it. Because you can know everything to say, but not say it in the right place, and then you lose that lead. And I think that's the most important thing.
That's knowledge.
I
agree. So anyway, back to your question. So we call within 3 minutes. We do have 2 ISAs on our team as well that hand out appointments.
For those that don't know, I say inside sales
Perfect,
agent,
yes.
that is handling incoming leads
Yes.
and dealing with the calls and the system. So they'll probably help manage the system.
Yeah,
right?
so our ISAs, they get leads, right? And they cultivate that lead until that lead is ready to see a house.
Okay.
Once they're ready to see a house, they hand it off to one of our agents.
Okay.
The agents also get leads that they cultivate as well.
Okay.
So we do it. We hit it with both sides. But anyway, when that lead comes in, let's say they don't pick up. Okay, we move it to what's called a qualified status, which means we have not gotten a hold of them, and we do what's called 10 days of pain. That's 10 emails, 10 text messages, 10 calls in 10 days. If you don't get a hold of them, then we archive them, and then somebody will end up calling those later as well and popping those. Jason, 3 of those 4 are old leads, because online leads
Timing.
It's
the timing.
you got to catch them at the right time.
We're done.
You got to be patient. You're like, I want to deal right now. Like, I totally get it, but what you're doing right now is not going to pay off for 60 to 90 days. And don't get me wrong, you might get that one lead that comes in and says, I want to go now.
Yeah.
That's great, but don't bank on that. So anyway, we do what's called 10 days of pain. If you do get a hold of them, we figure out, their time frame. We call it LP Mama, which is location, motivation, price. And so we drive that home, and we get all of those stats so we can put it in their notes. We're super detailed on our notes, because if you have 300 leads in your system, you're going to forget Jerry that you talked to 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
You have to use the system like it's designed, or you'll lose deals. At the beginning, I lost deals because I didn't add correct notes. I didn't do those things, and I learned by not getting a paycheck. So I learned by not getting a paycheck.
And
Yeah.
it's a win.
I like that.
Right.
That's a win.
Yeah.
That's a win.
That's
You
a
won.
huge win.
Yeah.
It's a bigger win than getting a deal. I'll be honest with you.
You get way more knowledge on the deal that blows up.
No
People
doubt.
are screaming at you. You did something wrong, and then that easy deal
Yeah.
that just went through. Oh man, this one was an easy one. Yeah, that's why you get into real estate, for those ones. But those don't happen every month.
No.
The other side, That's more realistic.
The ones you got to really work for. So
Yeah.
So my thing about internet leads, and you're just backing up what I always say. I think you have to have that ISA, and here's why I say that. So for me, internet leads isn't my thing. It is for some people. It's
Yep.
not for me. I feel like if I get a lead and you got to call them, and I believe first one out of the bag gets the deal. So, but if you're out showing $1 million houses,
I agree.
and you get a lead,
That's tough.
You gotta interrupt showing $1 million houses and
You
find
don't.
out it's $150,000
Yeah.
manufactured home. Not that there's anything wrong with that, and I treat all my clients. I don't care if they're buying a manufactured home.
It
or
averages out to
I
be
don't
the same.
care.
It averages out to be the
It
same.
does.
Yeah,
But
now I
that-
do know agents that
that
will take the
ISA
call,
is
though.
super important. You gotta have that that immediate contact.
Yeah.
So I think to do internet lead, would you say that that's a really clutch key part of it?
For somebody that is further along in the process, yes. At the beginning, you can't afford it. It's tough.
They're expensive.
You just take the lead as it comes in. If you're showing, call it when you get in the car. But a lot of those you're going to be, because a lot of them, they come in the afternoons. They come in, early mornings. They come in late at night. Like, I've had them come in at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll text them. And I acknowledge, I say, hey, I know it's late. Right? Because then I want them to know I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm here for them.
Yeah.
I say, hey, I know it's late. Just wanted to see how I could help. And then they'll text back. And those are the ones that are serious.
Yeah.
When they're searching on for homes at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Or
and I've
drunk.
closed them.
Or the-
Or drunk. Right, I've had clients call me at 12:30.
Dude,
Hammered,
smoke
smoking a
this
cigar.
cigar.
Yeah. Hey man, I want this one.
That's not a cigar they're smoking.
Yeah, not anymore.
Dude, check out this house. It's got a basketball court
Yeah.
inside.
Could you imagine how many parties, man?
I like that you said that because I know another agent does really well with lead gen too, online leads, and he'll say the same thing. That if it's 10:30 and your system, much like his system and a lot of systems, will let you know they're online.
Yes.
And so that's like
It lets
he
you
does
know
the same
everything
thing.
except when they go to the bathroom.
Right, pretty much. And so that's why he'll do the same thing you did. He'll actually text say, "Hey, I'm here. I'm up. If you have a question, I'm happy to help."
I'm here to help.
Yeah.
You gotta come out of contribution.
I messed that up. I'm taking a dump right now.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
sorry.
was gonna say
The
that.
right client would probably laugh and they'll go with you because you said that.
Yeah.
But
You never
I was gonna
know.
say,
Yeah.
These systems are capable of, so like you're showing the $1 million house, okay? These systems are capable that when the call comes in,
Uh-huh.
the system will say, "Hey, you have a new lead. What do you want to do with this lead? Do you want me to connect you with it? Do you want me to text them? Do you want me to email them?"
Text them.
So even if you were showing a home, you literally can hit option 2 and it sends a personal text to them.
Yeah. You can jump in a closet real quick and go,
Yeah,
it's done. It's that quick.
yeah.
It's that quick.
Or even tell the client you're with, hang on one second, I just gotta send a text.
Yeah.
Please
No,
excuse
no,
me.
people
They're
are okay with it.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. This guy works hard.
Yes.
So you don't
This guy
have to.
was-
They want to know that they're not their only one.
Right.
So when my phone rings, if I'm out showing houses, just like them, I answered the phone when you called me. I always answer the phone. I'll tell people, hey, I'm out showing houses right now. Can I call you back in like 20 minutes? I'll be done with this.
And people are okay with it.
People are, yeah, thanks, Johnny, I appreciate it. And the people you're with, they get it because you answer the phone when they call.
And here's the thing, if they're not okay with it, you don't want to work with them.
Probably not.
Because they're the ones who are going to do you on commission. They're the ones that are going to take care of a Benzer and hammer you on a Benzer. And then you're going to have to go to the agent and be like, I'm sorry, I tried, the Benzer is ridiculous. I get it. Just please give me a response, right? You got to get on your knees to get a response.
Right?
I love that you said just a moment ago about how when you do talk with the lead, how detailed you are about the notes and making sure that you have all that information
That's
in there.
key.
I think it's critical to help you because, like you said, we don't always get that one lead that happens now that we're out and we're showing houses. It's sometimes 60, 90 days.
Most of the time.
Yeah, so the more detailed you can be about what you're putting, your
Yep,
notes
amen.
and information, the better the conversation is every time.
Yeah.
Good.
And then you go in your notes and you say, hey, how's your mom doing? I know last time we talked, she was in the hospital. Is she okay?
Yeah.
Great, I'm glad she's recovering.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you have to care. If you don't care, people will see that you don't care. But if you care, people will see it. People will come back to you. I always tell our agents, what you're doing is you're creating raving fans. And what we're doing on this team is we're using online leads as a trampoline to a referral-based business, because there's no better call than that one is, hey, my buddy Raymond told me to give you a call. Oh, no way, man. Are you sure? Like, you can mess with them, right? Because they have that level of respect already, because you coached your client on how to refer you out. So you know when you get that call, it's a deal. It's done, right? But you have so much to do beforehand to ever get to that spot. And that's where the hard work comes in. You have to grind like you've never grinded in your life.
Let's talk a little bit about post-closing.
Okay.
And how you handle...
Sure.
I tell my clients, I say, okay, once this thing closes, then your job starts. You're like, my job, yeah, I told you about it at the beginning. I don't remember what's that. That's when you got to tell everybody what a great realtor you found.
Mm-hmm.
That's your job now.
Yeah.
And I tell them flat out,
Uh-huh.
that's how I build my business. By doing a great job for you, share me. Don't keep me a secret. Share me with your friends. Talk a little bit about, do you systemize that, or how does that work for you?
Yeah. So we do, well, not this year, obviously. We normally do client events. Like last year, we rented out a pool and invited all of our clients. I love raffles. I'm a guy that loves raffles. So we do raffles on everything that we do. This year we were going to do a movie event, like all of that stuff, and we call it your top 25. Like, invite your top 25. Your top 25 is going to send you a client a year. That's 25 deals minimum right there, right? And then you eventually get that to your top 50. But anyway, so we have Bree. She's our office manager, and she helps us with all of our events. She schedules them out, gets everything, like, so, because I'm not good at that stuff. So I found somebody that is. Does that make sense?
How often would you do these events?
Quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay.
Quarterly.
Client
events.
appreciation.
Client appreciation events. We stay in front of them. We also send out birthday cards and thank you cards, and 1-year anniversary cards. I don't even know if our agents know that we send those out, but we do. We have them sign a card, I sign the card, and we send it out with our business cards, and it goes out, hey, thank you so much, we really appreciate it, right?
And don't be afraid to tell them, hey, we're sending our card in case.
And is it a system, like
Yeah.
Skype or something?
Yeah,
The agents don't even know they're going
she
out.
handwrites them. We
Handwrites?
We love them handwritten.
Oh, that's awesome.
She handwrites every one of them. In my opinion, I feel like that goes over better with a
Oh, yeah,
client.
yeah.
It's a handwritten note that's
Yeah.
through the mail. Who gets handwritten notes right now? Nobody.
Yeah,
So you be that one to do it.
yeah, I agree with that. I like that.
But back in the day, handwritten notes were the thing, right?
Yeah.
As far as a system, we have we use Brivity, and that has our post close system in there, and it reminds her, hey, this one's a year, and then she writes it out and sends it out, right?
So I would imagine you have automated stuff that goes out to holidays, birthdays, as well as your handwritten notes.
We do everything handwritten.
Okay. What I mean is, do you do even for holidays and stuff?
Yeah, so like holiday cards, we handwrite all of our cards and we send them out.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Bree's amazing.
She's
And
behind us.
oh, this is Rachel.
Rachel.
So yeah, she's the glue behind the legacy real estate team. Keeps us together, makes sure we get paid on time. So
She looks tough too.
she is tough. You don't mess with her. If you don't send something in, she gets pissed. She's like, "Where's that addendum? You want to get paid on time?"
That sweet little face. over
I'm
there.
telling you, she gets pissed. So it's good. It keeps us grounded, right? And that's what we need. But I think the client events are the most important. When I didn't have a lot of money, what I did was, I didn't have a lot of business. I rented out a movie theater in Fat Cats, and I had my title company and I had my lender, and we split it 3 ways. Cost me $500. I got 6 deals out of it, and I invited all of our clients because it's all of ours, right? Because we have partners, right?
Right.
You got to make sure you pick the right partners because that's super, super
We talk
important.
about that a lot.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's so important. They're not vendors, people. Oh, what is the vendor doing for you? No, it's not a freaking vendor. That's a partner. Because they're linking arms with you saying, hey, I believe in you. I had some people at the start that we shook hands and it was, I believe in you. And I said, I believe in you. And we're still together today. And now we've both grown, good-sized businesses because we believed in each other and we've helped each other grow. You need to help your vendors. You need to help your partners, just like they help you.
I like that you said that because we talk about this
All
so
the time.
much, and that you really do got to help each other build your business. And so
Yes.
a lot of times they treat them like a vendor.
Yes.
Yeah, and
What are you
instead of
doing
an
for
actual
me?
partner.
That's not their job.
Yeah.
It's your job to go out and get business.
I'm going to tell you how to get. Let's say you're getting lenders call you and they say, "Yeah, I'd like to work with you," and all that. Well, I'm going to tell you how to.
Let's
end
hear
those
it. Let's hear
conversations
it.
really
Because
fast.
I get like 3 a week.
Great. Only a fool never looks, at something else. Only a fool, because you could miss out on the reinvention of the wheel because you decided not to listen. I always listen, but just let me tell you this, that I'm not looking for a lender right now, and if you want me to add you to my lenders, you have to tell me how that's a two-way street. So if you can come up with a way where it's not just me sending you loans, and there's a way that you're sending me business, and it's a partnership, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
I mean, our processing department.
Yeah. Everybody has a processing
So,
department.
no, really, get out of the box. Tell me how we're going to do business together. The smartest lender. I was a title rep, and the smartest thing I ever did was I'd find out about somebody before I went in. If they were a sports fan, or if they were a hockey fan, or if they whatever. Just find something. You got to connect. You got to find a way, and then you have to be valuable. And then once
Every
you
conversation.
commit to a team member, commit.
And here,
Go in 100%.
and here's the other thing. If you guys are out there thinking about, hey, I might start a team. This sounds awesome, right?
It's easy.
It is awesome. I
It is awesome. It is
love
not
it.
easy.
It's
I
so
know.
easy. Start a team.
It is.
Anybody can do
You
it.
will work more than you will work being an agent selling homes.
No doubt.
But I just want to say this. If you're going out thinking, I'm going to start a team, if you're going to go small, don't do it. And here's why. Every person that joins our team is depending on us to help them hit their goals, right? So if you go small, you can't create other opportunity for them later. For example, we started a flipping division, right? We buy ugly homes. We bought one, right? And we bought that because, first of all, it gives us leads, right? Second of all, what we do is, if you're on our team, if you find a flip, say you're scrolling through the MLS and you find one that you thought you were going to go for a client, but now you can flip it. You bring it to us, right? And we say, okay, great. Yes, we'll take it down. We'll take it down. We'll pay for everything, and we'll give you 50% of the profit. That's what we do on our team because I'm trying to create more than just a real estate team. I want to create a place where people can come, have an amazing relationship, have a family-built team, but also create other avenues of income than just buying and selling. But still, they're focused on this, but they've got this other check coming. Like we have an agent that made $16,000 2 months ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, another one that made $9,000. Just because they was like, hey, this is a good one.
So
Right?
multiple avenues,
Multiple avenues, because
multiple streams.
you're going to get tired. You're going to get tired of buying and selling. You're going to get tired. And here's the thing. It's fun. That check is still awesome every time, right? But you're going to get tired. And the best part is, though, you can be choosy at that point. You can be choosy on who you want to work with because you have so much business because you grinded at the beginning.
And then you implemented a team to help with the busy work, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now
exactly.
you have
Yes.
a team, so now
They're
you
doing
can
your
focus
TC
on
work.
other
They're
things.
doing all of that stuff. So you're out doing the stuff you love. You don't love showing? Find someone to show for you.
And if you are, it is not easy to build a team. So
Very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult, but it can be very.
So in the interest of being honest,
Yes.
I agree and I disagree with
Okay.
that. Okay. So if you don't want to have a small team, don't do it. I kind of disagree with that, but only for this reason, with all due respect. That little boutique team has a place too in business.
I agree.
Somebody that, we want to work 40 hours a week. Some people are like, no, I'm good with 40 hours a week. That's okay.
I think as
Really,
long as that's
okay.
established up front.
Up front, that was going to be my point.
I agree 100%.
Your team is obviously aggressive. You're looking for multiple streams of income, and I'd be willing to bet that if somebody on your team came to you with an idea, you would listen to it.
So how we started that Home Investors, someone came on our team and said, hey, this is what I think we should do. He brought it to us, and I said, I think that's a great idea. Let's do it.
There you go.
And now he's the one running it.
Yeah.
So
So the little boutique team that everybody's doing like 2 deals a month or something, and everybody's comfortable with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing.
That's,
I agree.
If that's what you want, then those teams are out
Sure.
there and you can do that. Obviously, very obviously, if you're on the top of the leaderboard for 6 months straight, that's not your team. This is a team for aggressive, let's go kick some ass, let's come up with new ideas, let's throw shit against the wall, and if it sticks, great, and if it doesn't, okay, we learn from that.
Yeah, we
Have we met before today?
Yeah, no.
And I'm just
we
telling
did
you.
radio last year, and it sucked. It sucked. We spent a lot of money on it, but it didn't work. But I wanted to try it
Yeah.
because I'm like, okay, how do we get our agents more deals, right? How do we do that? I've heard radio's great, so we try radio. Sucked.
Yeah.
Like radio's not it, I guess.
I had somebody come to me and say, you know what, I want to do what Russell Shaw does. And I go, okay, first, you're going to spend a shitload
It's
of money.
a lot of money.
Like a lot of money.
Lot
And
of
guess what? It's not going to work. You can't just buy what Russell Shaw has built. You can't do it. That
He
guy
was doing it when I was a kid.
That guy's, and God bless him, he's having some little issues right now. And you either love or hate that guy. I love him.
He's an honest guy.
Yeah, it's just I just really like Russell. I don't believe in everything he believes in, but he's a good man. But he built that. You don't just say, wow, okay, that Tyler Blair's doing this. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I got news for you.
Well, you
It's
make
not
a
the way
good
it
point
works.
because it's not a sprint, right? You can't
No.
you can't buy your way to
You have
the
to be
finish line.
patient.
You literally, it's a marathon, so you have to decide. Like you said, I think it's really important what it is that you like to do because there are a lot of lead gen opportunities.
So I'm going to use that as a segue and go back to what I said earlier. Your team has to be a reflection of who you are. Otherwise, you're not being authentic. And I think the key, the very fundamental, basic person, you have to be authentic. If you're not authentic, people are going to read that in a second.
In a second.
You know, if you pretend to have a southern drawl because you're talking to someone from Alabama, man, I got news for you. That's going to work for a minute, but that ain't.
Yeah, but when you go to meet
That's
them,
extreme.
when you go to meet them in your BMW, they're like, "What?
I know that's extreme.
Where's your Ford?"
I know that's extreme, but that's a real honest truth.
Yeah.
You got to be authentic to who you are. I use a comedic approach. It's worked very, very well for me. But I got news for you. I've stepped right in the middle of a pile of you know what.
Me too.
By saying the wrong thing.
Oh yeah.
But guess what I did?
Fix
I learned. No, you can't fix it. You're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But I learned from it, and I didn't do that again. But it has served me very, very well. And you just got to be able to read people and learn from your mistakes. But would you agree? You got to be authentic. Your team is built. I've never met your team. I guarantee you, there's not a person on your team that doesn't get up, fired up every day, and ready to go to work, or they just wouldn't last.
Our team, we're very picky about who we hire.
Which is smart.
And we show them up front, like it's a lot of work, and we set the expectations correctly. But I will tell you, there's not a person on our team that is hurting for money. And for me, that just warms my heart, right? Because a lot of these peeps that came on our team were making, $2,000 a month, $2,500, $3,000 a month, and now they've got 80 grand in the bank.
Can I tell you what your secret is?
What?
We've never met.
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
That you were on food stamps one day, and now you got all those people working for you. And
I
guess
appreciate
what?
that.
You're responsible for them, and I can see it in your face, and I can hear it in your voice. That it's not just about you.
Yeah.
You've got how many people on your team?
25.
Okay, times 2 because they all have spouses.
Yeah, and then they have
times
kids.
3 because they got 3
They got
kids.
kids,
So
yeah.
so that's on you, and that's a
I'd
very.
like to bring up something
serious
though,
thing.
and you talked
Good
about
on
that
you.
moment, and a lot of
Thank
us can have moments like that. So, because and when you mentioned that you had $24 there to go get the food stamp, there was a point. Same in my beginning of my real estate career, I borrowed $80
Yeah.
to get 10 open house signs to start my real estate business because at that point I'd gone through divorce.
Yeah.
The economy sucked at the time.
Yeah.
This was 2008, 2009,
Okay, uh-huh.
right? So, but I do remember, and I'm sure you could probably say the same thing. There was a moment that I was like, "Holy crap!" I'm in this spot, and then but in that moment, I made that decision. I'm like, wait, I know how
Facebook allows it.
I know how to do this. I know how to get out there and do
Yeah.
that. And from that moment, is when it changed, because I switched from trying to be, in the beginning of my real estate, it was all about I really was trying to be the sales guy. You know what I mean? Like, and you learn from
trying to sell them the house.
You're trying to sell them, and then I became what you just said, authentic. It was like, wait a minute, I'm just going to be me. I know I can do this, and that genuineness really what changed the game. But would you agree? There's that moment that you're like, and from there you just don't ever want to go back to that.
I'll tell you that moment. We had my son. She took that. It was Chase Bank. She took the slip, right? She comes back, and she's crying. And she had to stand in DES for 3 hours. My son was crying, and all of that stuff. She comes back and she's crying, and she goes, "Please don't ever make me do that again." And I looked at her and I said, "I will never make you do that again, ever." So that was my turning point.
But I think all of us have that. There is a moment, and I think you can use that as a launching pad, if you will, a launching board to really make change. And maybe you don't need as bad of a moment as that, but sometimes it's
pick your moment.
Yeah, it's pick your moment and really look internal and say, okay, what have I been doing the last 12 months? What have I been doing the last 24 months in my business? And am I really where I want to be? And I think if you could be honest with yourself and pick a moment and make that decision, make that commitment that we talked about.
People,
that's huge.
People are incredible. People do incredible things when they're backed up into a corner. People are magnificent, right? But when they're backed up into a corner, man, a lion comes out of them.
Look at boxers.
Yes.
Look at boxers. They come out of
a ring.
Tough neighborhoods. Their families got nothing.
Yeah.
They get out, and all of a sudden they win they're a world champion, making all kinds of money. What happens to most of them? They blow it. They don't. Lottery winners.
Yeah.
Lottery winners. Another good example. Let me jump on something that you said, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but I've had my own business since '86, and I had those moments where it's like, that's it, it's time to go, and I went and I built myself a successful business, and then I got kicked right square in the nuts, like 15 years after the fact. I was already successful, I was doing well. I had somebody tell me one day that, man, you come across so salesman-y. And to me,
that hurt you.
Oh man,
because you're authentic.
That was such a kick in my balls.
Yeah.
It was like, wow. I couldn't have been insulted worse.
Yeah.
Really, to me. And all of a sudden, it was kind of like that day that your wife said, "Don't ever make me do." Only it happened again, and it was 15 years later. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say
it's okay.
I don't know everything, and maybe I'm successful, but I just got kicked right square in the chops.
The biggest thing that I see with people when they start to become successful in real estate, I'm just going to say it, they become a douchebag. And they think they know everything, and they don't. I'm still learning. I don't know everything. My team keeps me on my toes. I love them so much. And I know that I have to continue to learn so I can help them. And most agents, they get cocky and they get douchebaggy, I guess, is that even a word? But and it's
well, no,
is that even a word? There you go. That's one word, right? Let's go with it.
If we each took a piece of paper and wrote down 5.
Yes, we would probably all be the same.
3 of the same.
Yeah. So it's like, don't be that guy.
Hopefully, none of them are Johnny Walker.
Yeah. Be humble. Help everybody. Yeah. When someone comes across your corner, this is what I told my wife the other day. All I want is at my funeral for thousands of people to show up and say, "Man, I'm sure glad I came in contact with that guy." I don't want anyone to say, "Man, I'm sure glad he's dead. He was a dick."
Yeah.
I don't want that.
No.
I don't know. Am I allowed to say that on here? I apologize.
So I
already
said it. So
you already said it.
We got a couple minutes left. I want to ask you a
Yes.
question, Mike.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you the same question. So we talked a little bit about grind, and then when it's time to take a break.
It releases.
It's time to take a break. What do you do when it's time to take a break?
I'm with my family. That is the biggest thing. I've missed a lot of the beginning years of my son. and I missed a lot of the beginning years of my daughter because I was up until 1 o'clock at night working. And now, thankfully, like, I get to be there. We went to San Diego a couple weeks ago. We're going to Disney World. Like,
How old are your kids?
5, 3, and 8 weeks.
So you're, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
We're in the thick of it right now.
So I'm an old guy. Mike's an old guy.
Okay.
Your son is 15, 16? How old is
My son's 17. Could be-
17, yeah. So let me give you some advice. Well, work is work, and it's really important. Life is like a pie, and you don't have a full
I
pie
thought you were
unless you
going to say
have.
life was like a box.
Box of chocolate. I was like, we're going Forrest Gump, huh?
It's like a pie. I learned this in religion class in high school. You gotta have a religious slice and a family slice and a work slice and a friend slice and all that stuff. So that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Don't ever, like if your kid decides to play baseball,
Yeah,
one of the greatest things I ever did.
He plays soccer.
I started coaching when my oldest son was now 27, when he was 5.
Yeah.
And now I coach 80 different teams. I've been coaching for 20 years.
Yeah.
And talk about a release.
It's amazing.
When I was coaching Jeremy's, because my kids are all done and gone, so I started coaching Jeremy's kids, our broker, our owner rather. And man, just 2 hours on the ball field, my phone was in my bag. It was just
Well, you're making a really good point, and that is balance, right? So,
Balance.
you know,
It's tough.
I know, you probably did the same thing I did when you're, broke. You
don't
work.
have an option.
You really work. But I learned after I started doing business that I had to have a balance, because you can burn out. You literally can overwork,
Oh, yeah.
and so you got to have that balance, and you got to find what that is. If it is family, if it is working out, if it is traveling, whatever it is, you got to have that balance in there. Otherwise, it just becomes overwhelming.
you burn out, and then you're not doing anybody any good.
Back to your point, right? I grinded for a long time. I had a guy, he was one of my mentors, his name was Hani, he's amazing. He said, hey, he gave me that advice, right? So what I do now, when I pull into my house, I go like this. And that's me putting on my dad hat. So when I walk in the door, I can be so excited. Doesn't matter what day I had. My goal is to walk in that door and act like it was the first time I had ever seen them, because I get that response, Dad! And there's nothing better than that when you walk in the door.
Yeah.
So
My wife
that's
still
something
does
that I
that.
do.
She holds up a lighter when I come home and stuff.
Yeah, see? That's awesome. You got a heck of a wife,
Yeah,
man.
no, I got really lucky on that.
That's awesome.
All right, so I want to throw out one thing. First of all, I want to say hi to my sister in Chicago who watches every week. Hi, Julie.
Hey, Julie.
Secondly, 3 weeks ago we had the Blickery team on, right? It was Brock and Jamie Blickery, and now we've got Tyler Blair's the
Legacy real estate team, yep.
Two completely different ends of the spectrum. So if you're looking for a team, pick the right one. Pick which one lets you be authentic to yourself, and which is the right one.
Learn
Yeah,
about the different teams.
definitely.
If you need
Yeah,
help
'cause-
with that, I'm here. Reach out to me.
Brock and Jamie have a completely different approach and a different kind of feel, whereas you're way aggressive. How can people get a hold of you if they're interested in maybe working?
Sure, 480-291-4478. I mean, and here's the thing, I'm available, so even if you're not looking to join a team and you have a question, I'm here to help.
So that's my home group in general.
Yeah,
Well,
my
that's-
home group is really amazing. So I came from Keller Williams, and Keller Williams was, I know, right? Keller Williams was a lot like that, and I was worried when I came to my home group. I was worried that it wasn't going to be like that, and it is. It's very much. I love it. My home group. It is your home, and I really love my home group.
Awesome. All right, we're out of time. Kelly's over there going like this to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
time's
yeah.
up, right,
Making
Kelly?
funny faces. It goes fast, doesn't it?
It was
Now?
quick.
Hey, thanks so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Yeah, I
Awesome.
really
appreciate it.
enjoyed it. Yeah,
Thank
really.
you. Appreciate you coming on. Next week, I just got confirmation that Jennifer Aniston will be joining us next week.
Can I come?
No, sorry, you're
Come
out.
on, let me come.
Tune in
Oh,
next
yeah,
week.
Brad Pitt will be here too.
Oh,
We'll
man.
sort all that out.
No, come on, I just want Jen Ann. I call her Jen Ann.
Brad Pitt's coming in the week after. They didn't
Oh, the
want to
week
get
after,
on that.
okay.
So tune in next week for Jennifer Aniston, and we'll see you.
Have a great weekend.
Bye, Jules.
Okay.
So
That's awesome. I took a bunch of quotes.
this
Okay.
fucking